Okay, so of course something's going on, and so it just has got me totally triggered. Okay, so the Burning Man, I think I mentioned some stuff about Burning Man already, but oh, it's just gotten so much worse. So, however it started was this whole weird thing where they were being held back by these protesters that were for climate change. It's weird because it's like these are the same groups. These are both, these aren't conservatives, these are liberals. And see how it's starting to divide out? You know, aren't all these people who are here at Burning Man, aren't they all about climate change and all that same stuff? So, anyways, but they wanted her out of the way. So they called the cops on her. I called the cops on this group and said that they had weapons and they were threatening them and stuff like that. So it was this aggressive takedown on these ladies. And then everything has got to be so absurd. Everything is supposed to be making us outraged. So outrageous shit after outrageous shit keeps happening. And so all the people go in, and I guess, you know, it was during the hurricane or something, during some big storm. Like, I know that there was all the floods in Nevada, but, you know, they create this shit. Like, they build it up. They do it all on purpose. So, you know, I don't know how this big, massive flood came in, but it came in this big storm. And they're all out here in the desert or something, and of course it affected them. The whole town is shut down. You can't go in or out of this town. And then they're out in the desert. They're not even in the town, so they've shut down. This is like shit out movies. Like, what is that one movie where they shut down the town? Like, people gotta watch more low budget, stupid ass scary movies. Like, even these old science fiction horror movies. It's all fucking disclosure, but you know, taking these small towns and then they contain them and they don't let the people leave. And so now, when the rain came in, it flooded all the people. So for some reason, they started telling the people that they can't use their generators, they can't, all sorts of stuff. They can't do the toilets, they can't leave. All the roads are closed. They have to stay there. They're in this giant muddy mess. I'm assuming that Burning Man already happened, but I don't know. You know, I don't know the date that it's supposed to happen, if people had just got there and all this went down. But once they had had the storm come in and told them that they couldn't leave, then FEMA came to the rescue. FEMA knows, boy, they are right there all the time, aren't they? So they just zippity doodled right in there, and then they took over, put up fences, contained them, told them nobody's down there, not allowed out of their tent because someone got sick, and now people are coughing up blood clots and disappearing. This one guy, and they're not allowed to be on their phones and shit. So this one video was a guy who was being real secretive and stuff, and he said that they're all contained, they're all fenced in. They're supposed to stay in their tents. And he said up at the gates are all armed guards. Armed guards are there to protect you. So, and then this is another thing is, you know, a lot of the people who got these things, I'm not saying every single person who got these is a progressive liberal, but a lot of people who got these were people who wanted to go out and keep going in the world, you know, wanted to go around their family members still, wanted to go, you know, all that stuff. They didn't want to be alone. And so the tons of people got those, but there's a lot of crossover and all these people who are out, you know, socializing, going to bars, going to clubs, going on trips and all that, who all feel like safe because they've all, you know, done all this stuff. I think the people who don't have these, who did research and stuff, started seeing, you know, the bigger picture going on that is far beyond these. They're out to do us in. So, yeah, the majority of us. So, you know, once you start seeing, and start, like, the more you see and the more research you see and the more, like, there's so much. But a lot of the people who are going to these, they're all out there just living their lives, just doing their thing, kind of ignoring everything that's going on around them. It's like they are just focused on what they want to focus on. They don't want to focus on what's going wrong in the world. They just want to keep having fun and doing things. And I'm sure there's, all it is a spectrum. So, there's going to be people who are a lot like that and some people who aren't at all, but that are just, ignoring the world around them. Maybe there's really nothing significant happening in their life or whatever. It's all, each soul has its own lessons of how all this is supposed to affect them. But so all these people who go to these, if you consider that probably the majority of them have all these. And okay, so you remember back when they were doing the testing on these, like I was hearing about, it seemed like there was some videos that were going around. I don't know all the different places. I think Stu Peters might have had some. I swear I heard from Judy Mikovits too. But there was studies. So when they were studying certain things, that when it had, they kept piling more things. I think they were testing it, these on ferrets or something. They were testing it, and then they would add something else on. Maybe it's just rats. They would add something else on, and then when they would add stuff on, there was every single time it was the same outcome: death, 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 death. And so I said back then, I said that this is all a chemical experiment. They just have, they have these certain things. They know just add this, and goes up in smoke. And so I could see that kind of, like I was talking about that. I don't even know when, I've lost track of time, but that that's a part of the thing. And so if they get all those people, because you think about like, to me, it's like if you got a mouse in the house, you're not chasing the mouse around, right? You're not chasing them. You're not throwing things, and you just put out a bait. You put out a trap. You put out something so that a mouse contains itself. So you don't have to do shit. All you got to do is bait it. And that is what they're doing with all the stuff. I mean, right when there's going to be all these sports, and not just the big sports, not just the big, because all those places are ritual centers. That's why all of these weird, creepy, super, the shows in the middle are so fucking weird, because it's all these rituals, because they use the energy of all the people gathered, and then they turn it into whatever it is they're trying to create or whatever it is they're doing. It's all weird shit. So, and to me, it's kind of just like they're just wacky. Like they're just wacky and ceremonial, and I don't know. Like they're limited because they just practice like darkness. Like they're so in the dark energy, so it limits them because they don't have access to both. So they are already limited. And so if you're in balance, you're already over what they're capable of. So anyways, so like all these games and stuff. So yeah, you get all these people lured out there for a good time, gonna have fun. I mean, wasn't that all about what is about to be American? Like, you want to be American, get out there and have fun. You go to a baseball game, you go to a football game, get out there, gather at the sports bar, have some tailgate parties. And some of them, I'm sure there'll be some, some shootout kind of things. There'll be some stuff like that. Crazy assaults that will happen. And it'll always be a division thing. It will always be some group that was getting the other group. And then, but there's going to definitely be ones where they're going to say there was an outbreak. Everybody, and they're going to hunt people down and contain them, just like they fucking have done in like China and shit. Just like that guy who was on that vacation to China and ended up spending it the whole time in the hotel because they locked the whole fucking thing down because of the sickness. And so that is what they're doing, and they're doing over there. But Is it really, did they bring in Ebola? Like what they're trying to make out like it's Ebola symptoms. Ebola is something you live through. There's not a lot of people who live once they get it, and it's quick. And so, or is it because of their tricks and stuff? Is it another chemical assault that is gives people certain symptoms, or is it activate blood clots, or if something's going on if people are coughing up blood clots, and if they start bleeding out their eyes, man, and they're not letting people access their phone. But see, people just walked right into it. Now they're contained. Now to say, oh, fuck no, we got an Ebola breakout, nobody's leaving here. And then now they're under control of FEMA. When they already had the bathrooms had already not been taken care of, so they've got no places to go to the bathroom now. There's going to be a food shortage, and there's going to be more and more people getting sick because they're all wet and muddy. It is, I guess it's getting really cold at night, and you're not allowed to use your generator or anything. So they're going to have all these people are going to get sick in it, and they know which things to like blow out at night over. I mean, it would surprise me if they fucking had people's lot numbers and knew. Like, I swear to God, I've seen such weird videos of literal people going and spraying something into people's homes. And for all of this, all of a sudden, all these pretty girls out there who just want you to smell this perfume at the same time that they want people to just smell their stuff, but it's not perfume at all. Not only is it stuff that can kill you instantly, but there's stuff that just knocks you out where they take you, and it's part of the nabbing. So but they get it out there into society, and put pretty girls and stuff. So then, another woman comes up and wants you to smell something. You're not like, and besides, they could find as many pretty girls as they wanted. Like they fucking breed them. They breed them in centers. Fucking Ukraine and goddamn put a goddamn commercial out about it. It's like, God, look, this shit is so fucking bizarre. But the way that people just walk into the trap, just go right into it. Like, to not be thinking, like, I didn't even know Burning Man was going on. Like, God, all these different concerts, like that, I think it's Marina Del Rey, at that concert. I've seen that footage so many times, where it's like the whole front, I don't know how many rows back of people, but all the people in the whole front of the stage, all of a sudden, all fall down the same direction. And, it doesn't make any sense. And so even if somebody fell, you wouldn't all fall like dominoes. Everybody would start falling and going all different directions, but everybody just, and so that's the energy thing. I mean, they're testing what happens if we do that. And then, like I said, like they know who's out and who's not out. Like they watch stuff. They know who's out. They know who talks about what. They know, even if they don't know down to every single person by their name or something, they have a general consensus. Like they know, like to me, I bet you 75% of the people who are out doing stuff all have these. And they're out just doing stuff like, but that keeps them distracted from what's really happening in the world, which keeps them in ignorance because they know that they don't know that they have something to fear or something to be aware of. Like they don't see the wolf sneaking up on the pack because they're over here all talking about, so-and-so's new hairdo. And so they are, it's like their shallowness is like so much has been in like our little stories when we were kids. Like the shallowness will get you every time. But somehow people, like, I don't know, do they even do those kinds of stories anymore? Do people even read bedtime stories to their kids? And do they read those kinds of little stories? I don't know. Probably have to go back and read the old stories to get like this moral, the they used to call them something. I know there was like fables, but it was like little moral stories that you would get. But there was definitely always like that shallowness or something. It wasn't a good thing. And so all these people, it's like showing, like it's not. They all, they put their fun, and plus that place is so much just about going out and doing all these drugs and stuff. It's all just about this big drug thing, and I guess a lot of wild sex and stuff. And so they're all putting all of that before everything else. So yeah, of course it's gonna come back and bite them. And so now they're gonna all be locked down. I don't know how it's gonna go. I don't know if this is gonna be like, this was definitely our first camp that is going, even if people don't get it, but I think they've got containment in Hawaii too. But that is like they're covering it up, trying to make sure nobody can see what's going on back there. There's no telling what's going on back there. I mean, this has totally got to be the people have got to stand up to the overlords. But that is what they want. They want us to go up against them. All this outrageous, like there's a part about all of the absurdity and the outrageousness is to wake people up, to get people to see, and how many people still don't see. But also, it seems that they're trying to provoke us to make a move so that we have to be locked down. Like we're, they're trying to treat us like we're teenagers or something, and we better not talk back to them. And if we do, well, there'll be consequences. You'll be grounded. You won't be going to that party. And so they keep trying to get people to react or overreact or something so then they can shame them, because it's a more part of like stripping away your rights. And people keep, stepping back. And to me, we've got to know our rights. We got to know, and even if we don't know all our rights, just to know the fact that we are human and we have human rights, and that they are men who made up this whole little fucking game. And it was all to control us. That to me, is just a big part of it, just knowing that. And so it's like, I don't know every single little thing, and you don't know what you're going to be hit with. Like, if they come at me about the house and that's where it's supposed to go, like, I don't know where all my stuff is going to go. Like, I don't know, where we just got to see what's going to happen next. I mean, for God's sakes, if they're going to have these festivals, like football games, they're going to start locking people down and saying there was a sick person, and then they're going to go all in on the Ebola. You can't go in and start saying everybody there's got it, and then all of a sudden there's all those people live. Like, there was people who were in hospitals and shit. They couldn't live. People are not going to be just living out there. And besides that, it's probably something that they've released. And at other gatherings, like parades and all these other things that go on, they keep releasing these bugs. Like, they keep doing these mosquito releases, and now people are getting sick and getting brain swelling and stuff because they're geoengineered. They've got an extra boost. And so, and they've got like a homing thing to find us. It's another reason about like being outside is risky, just to be out there, just, and you got to know what's going on in your area. If it is, a lot of bugs, but definitely there's going to be all sorts of sickness because they're doing everything they can. But they do it so that we get sick. It is like, it's like so many people just don't take care of themselves. Like, I just saw an interview that was really surprising to me. As I saw one with Bill Maher and Joe Rogan, and I keep seeing these little clips, which I've been seeing a different side of Bill Maher. I thought he was on the other side of, he was trying to push the agenda, but he seems that he's out questioning it as well. But he, what was he saying? Him and Joe Rogan were saying, damn it, now I forgot what it was. But if you see the interview, it is interesting. But Bill Maher does show a different side of himself, and I guess apparently he said that he had been saying things the whole time, but you're not allowed to say things and stuff. So he was questioning things apparently. So I see him. That's a shocker to me, because I thought he was pushing the agenda. I didn't know that, and so. But I wish I could think of what it was that they had said. Oh yeah, because it was most of the people, I guess like 75% of the people or something that died from the sickness in the beginning were all overweight. Everybody was obese. And they all had low vitamin D. They all had obesity. And they were, oh, that's what Bill Maher was saying. He was saying that that is what he gets attacked on the most, is if he brings up anything about weight and health and stuff. That agenda, but look at the agenda is to kill us, so keep us sick. And then all of the people who feel so bad about themselves because they have gotten really overweight and stuff, and then they are trying to feel good about themselves, and they feel attacked, because they always create all this division. So instead of the people seeing it is affecting their health, because I mean that's the majority of the people dying from the sickness are all overweight. I didn't even know that. I knew, what was it that there was something I knew about, oh, the vitamin D, yeah. I knew that they were all low on vitamin D, that there was something about that. But I didn't know that about all of them are overweight. And, that should be a big thing, in our country. It should be about being healthy and stuff, especially when you watch old movies and you see how small people were, and there was nobody saying, oh, you're anorexic, you're toxic, and nothing about that. People were just smaller. All this adding on more weight and more weight to us, and being more to carry around and more of a burden and stuff, and all due to our consumption. And that they also took away the nutrition out of what we were consuming. And so it was just making people more hungry, but there's a whole thing about our society that's all been out of control. It's all been out of control for a while. And this is the part where we've got to see, where we've got to reel in control. We've got to pull control back into us. And going around and being out of control and then getting mad if anybody notices. And then to think that if you're way overweight, that is the best you can be, that is an illusion. That's programmed into you. And so it is this way of beginning to see yourself more clearly. And so that is that's all part of the awakening too. The health, the tuning into your mind and body, spirit. But it does become more and more clear, in our culture, the whole weird thing of weight and stuff, and how fast it happened. Like, it's crazy. So there's just so many things that get so programmed into us. But fuck, if they're gonna go in that fast, like, they had to be prepared. Like, there was so much shit that they about the Hawaii thing. Like, they went and did all this sneaky shit right before the fires. It's just so fucking obvious. All of this stuff it's so fucking criminal. These criminals don't even fucking hide their shit anymore. They're just like, what are you gonna do about it? It's like, well, as soon as my friends get together with me, well, we're gonna do something. You watch. It's like, when it's just like scattered people, I'll just see, look, everybody. And then I've even had people like, oh man, I thought I was paranoid. It's like, no, you have awareness. You're paying attention. It's other people who aren't paying attention. And then it's kind of like a burden to those of us who are, because then those of us who are paying attention and try and say something, and then they come back at us that we're crazy and stuff. It's like, you need to start paying attention now. You need to start looking, paying attention what's going on in this world. You know, stop worrying about work so much. Stop worrying about what fucking happened at the bar last week. Whatever it is that you use to distract yourself all the fucking time, start fucking paying attention in the world. And then we won't have all of these fucking dramas and traumas happening. Like all these people are gonna go to this goddamn festival, just put themselves right out there in the cage. Like they just walked into the trap. They just walked their asses right in. And I probably won't be walking out. I don't know. And then how will we even know? I bet you they're going to be gathering up phones. I mean, in Hawaii, they've been turning stuff off, Canada, so that people can't show and tell what's going on. I mean, it's a total fucking assault on humanity. You know that word that starts with a Jen and ends with a side. That's total, but you know, all this bad stuff is going to lead, this is the stuff that gets them all, you know, put down. They'll all be put down. They'll all be hanging to be put down. Or I think it's this is the big thing, is that squad is going to be out there. But yeah, people are just going to keep walking in. You can't just be going out there unless that is, I mean, it is people's destiny. Like, destiny is a thing. Like, wherever you're led to go is where you're supposed to be. I got this one message. This one girl said that all of a sudden, right before it, she just felt like something was, no, she couldn't go. And so she sold her tickets. And she didn't go. It's like, fuck, that's listening to your gut instinct. That's listening to, watching the signs and paying attention and listening. And then you don't end up, because this is not going to be good. I mean, FEMA didn't go there with good intentions. They don't just show up for nothing. They're going, you know, and I think that people, like, they think like, Trump was trying to bring government back. He was trying to bring, you know, so that we could recognize that we weren't being governed. We were being dictated. They were just doing it in a slow way so we wouldn't notice. And then keep us all busy and fighting is another good way to keep us not know. And then, you know, put out a big blockbuster here, you know, every couple weekends, so that everybody is, oh, let's run and spend all our money and go see a blockbuster together. And then, so it's just this nonstop, you know, way to keep us from paying attention. And so it's been the, you know, good thing about everything slowing people down, getting them to stop working and stuff so that they can start seeing and recognizing. And a lot of people think, oh my God, I've lost my job. What am I gonna? Now you're going to start paying attention to what the fuck's going on in the world. That's what you're going to do first. Hold on. But the just going mindlessly into these places is, there's a setup. All the, whatever they're going to be doing, I think there's going to be a bunch. I think they're going to set up all sorts of things. And besides, like, even that Astro World one and these other concerts where you keep hearing these horrible things, like a whole bunch of people had a heart attack at this one, a whole bunch of people passed out at this one, all these different things. Well, how do we even know what happens once the people get home? Like, how many people are still alive that had a reaction at the Astro World one? How many people have had to go to the hospital a lot of times? Like, all these different blasts that are happening, or these chemicals, or whatever is going on when they get these people out there together so that they can do these tests on them. You know, and this is probably, now they've gotten to the point where we're going to do our first, you know, what is that, pop-up prison? It's like a pop-up camp or something. Hey, we're going to do a pop-up camp. I bet you they've already got mapped out. Like, they know what concerts are coming. They know what's going on. They know how to time storms and shit. Like, these people aren't new at this. We're just watching and we think it's all just new. No, this has been going on a long ass time. It's been, you know, this is how they run this place. So anyways, People just going out and walking right into their hands is just, fuck, just going to cause, it will end up, no matter what, all the bad things, what ends up being, because it's the hand of God and it's that turning, everything turning. So it's going to have a good thing that comes from it, even though it's, all these really horrible, tragic things are all going to have a really good things come from them. So I don't know. It's got a lot of people talking. A lot of people are paying attention. So this Burning Man can turn into a really big thing. And then it's all these, like, these, I don't know, hippie people. I don't know. I don't know what this group of people sees themselves out as, that, I don't know, psychedelic experiencer people who are really into those kind of experiences. And like, I've seen videos and stuff of Burning Man, and they have like all these different tents and things set up, and like they'll have tents where it's just this music that is techno, just this techno, just this repeat sound over and over. Oh my God, I could not fucking. And then they go in there with all these weird lights and stuff and dance around. Like, there's groups of people who like to do that shit. And so, this isn't the time to be going out and doing it. I mean, you want to do it in your own home or something. Get your friends and do it. You go out there, you're walking into their traps. They're looking for us to gather. They're looking for easy containment. They're looking for a place they can pop up a fence. That's what they want. And then they're going to always spin it. Oh, well, see what happens. Oh, we get together and suddenly there's Ebola. Yeah, where did that come from? Oh, yeah, this person was just out of the concert having a good old time, but they had Ebola. Ebola, you can't even live very long. It's and you're sick as fuck. I mean, it's like, I think it's within 12 hours your eyes are bleeding. Most of the people, it was like within 36 hours they were gone. You can go look it up. I was going on when I was in the hospital. It was just all this Ebola. And I was paying attention. It was isolated in one place, but then a doctor went over there and then got it. And so they do this whole thing like, oh, fuck, the Ebola's gonna come over here. Like, I'm not fucking working no goddamn ER with no Ebola. Fuck that. Hell no. Like, it was just sickness, and you can get it and you can fight it and get better, but there's these other things that they do that you can't get better. It's you just can't get better. Well, there was, I think there was one or two people who lived, and it was like a huge thing. I think that one doctor, you'd have to look it up, and who knows too. Like, even if you go look up, like, try and find out any history, they just fucking jack it. They just fucking make shit up. Like, I wonder what they even say about the goddamn Tylenol thing. It changed everything in the whole goddamn world. Then, when the tainted Tylenol in, like, Chicago, one motherfucking person. There might have been a couple. They may have been like one person, and we all were just like, oh, well, I'm scary. But then I think there might have been three. I don't know. I think it was between 1 and 3. I don't know. You'd have to look it up. But, before that, everything was like, it wasn't containers like how it is. And then all of a sudden, they said that it got tainted. Somebody just, for some reason, decided to just go put cyanide in Tylenol bottles or some bullshit. And then, so then we had to have all the safety containers. Oh, we got to have safety containers. We got to have boxes. We got to have there's an opening peel. So all the safety features. So if anything's tampered with, don't take it. All they had to do was spill a bit of cyanide in one little town. And they got all that. I mean, I think people nowadays think that, well, that's the way it's always been. No. No. It wasn't like that before. I mean, Jesus Christ. When I was a kid, the milkman drove around in a truck, and he brought milk bottles up to your house and set them on your porch and took your milk bottles with him. We'd go around, and all soda came in bottles, And then we would go and collect bottles so we could get money for the bottles so we could go buy candy bars. We go up to the grocery store, we'd turn in the bottles, and then we would get our, dime or 25 cents or whatever, and then we would buy candy. Like uh, it was totally, totally different. And there wasn't any of that, all that packaging and stuff. Like, man, I mean, my mom probably, I know she had that baby bear aspirin because I ate that bottle of it that one time, but I don't know. I mean, I'm pretty sure she kept having it because I tasted it again. So, but it would have been, you went down to buy your bottle of aspirin. It was just a bottle of aspirin sitting there, just a bottle of aspirin sitting there, and you just take the top off and your pills are just sitting there. That's the way it always was. And then they started, and then look how extreme it's gotten. I mean, you got to have the little safety thing. You got to have this other lid. Then you got to have a plastic thing around the lid. Then you got to have it in a box. All that for our safety because fucking 30 years ago, 40 years ago, some person went and put sign, and even if you even follow anything about crime, for God's sakes, that could be one person who was trying to kill their family member, but we know, because it made such extreme changes in the world, what it really was. It was nothing that we did. It was something that they did, and they kill people always to make their point, so that we all get scared. Oh my God, it could happen to me too. I'm so scared. It's like, no, nothing can happen to you that's not meant to happen to you. It's impossible. I still don't understand about the clone people. Like, if they are manufacturing people, I don't know. It's so weird. Like, it's part of the storyline, it's part of the storyline, but maybe it's our soul people that we go, it goes around in our orbit that we're like, contracted with or whatever, the ones we're playing parts out with, maybe that is all, said. But I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how they can just, maybe, I don't get it. I don't get how they can make artificial people, even robot people. Like, why doesn't that just throw everything off? Like, everything get thrown out of sync because everything is so, maybe that is what's going on. Maybe that's why everything is getting thrown out of sync, is because all of the artificial things are putting things too out of whack, because it doesn't make sense, because everything is so by design. Everything in nature is so, it's like every domino has to hit the next domino. It can't skip across dominoes. What they come in and do is try and interfere. So there's dominoes skipping. So it interferes inside of our system. It interferes in the world around us. They're always causing interference. But nature is precise. And our lives is about nature, our soul. That is our natural side of ourselves. And that is all by design. It's so precise. Like, everything is by like divine timing. Everything is got a place in time. Every domino has a specific time it's going to fall. It isn't just by happenstance and it goes into these perfect patterns. No, everything leads to the next thing. Everything is in perfect timing and perfect synchronicity. And so, yeah, I don't know how the artificial people fit into it all. Like, that is so strange. I'll have to ponder on that and see if I get any kind of clarity. I don't know. It's just a strange one. But there's a lot of things that are hard to understand in this place, But I do understand lures. I do understand traps. And I do understand what these people are doing. And people are walking right into their own demise out of ignorance. And that's going to be a part, I think, of those of us who are awake, who witness some of this stuff, is to really, with a deep understanding of what ignorance really leads to, It's going to be a lot of death due to ignorance, a lot of stuff like that. So, I don't know what's going to go down with the Burning Man, and the Hawaii shit just gets crazier and crazier. Like, even the woman who's supposed to be their representative or something, she's showing clear signs that she's not on their side. So, but it's the people. See, everything goes back to the people. It all goes back to us. It all goes back to us coming together in unity and community, standing up together, coming together, going over our differences. Because the way I know is because that is what the Age of Aquarius is about. And that you can see that that is what is happening as people awaken, as people people come together. This is the growth. This is the evolution. We're going from separation into like a collective, into not just a hive mind, not just this mindless. It is going to be, this deeper understanding, of the where you put your energy out. When we're all being more mindful of how we direct our energy, and when we are all more mindful of how we affect others. And if we want a nice place to be, then we need to help create the place that is nice, and not be mean or confrontational. Because there's a difference between being confrontational and calling somebody out on their stuff. Because there's so much of this not calling people out and trying to, well, I don't want to hurt their feelings, I don't want to make them feel bad, so we're not honest. And so instead of being honest, which people they're also depending on our honesty, but a lot of people then, once you're honest with them, then their feelings get hurt because that's their trigger. But that's why there's so much of this that needs to happen, because everybody needs their triggers. So if you're going around, well, I don't want to say that, I don't want to hurt their feelings. Everybody needs their triggers right now. But we also need to not be confrontational, not be judgmental, not think that everybody needs to think like us. We need to give everybody independent thought space and independent action. Let everybody go through this in their own way. I mean, it's gonna be, like, that's 70,000 people. 70 fucking thousand people. They've got trapped out there in a fenced-in area out in the desert with armed guards, and people are coughing up blood clots and shit. No toilets, no food. Even the town shut down. Like, this is like a fucking scary movie, man. That's a lot of people. And if they really try and push this Ebola agenda, that is fucking 5 days tops. It'd be like all the people have died. Just so happens that we all had white suits. Like, that's one thing too, is another video somebody else had, and they were in their tent, and theirs was by text that they were sending out, and they were saying that they were telling other people, don't go out. And their friend had started coughing up blood, so they called for a medic or something. They came and took the person away, and they've just they don't have any idea where the person's gone. They've just taken him. But they're coming and taking the people. They've already are hazmated up. They're prepared. How they keep being prepared for this stuff? It's crazy. So so anyways, yeah. If they do push that agenda, that will be quick. Like, we'll see it go fast. But also, if they are, because there's so many different ways they could play this, because they could just, really keep people contained for a long time. There's so many different things that can go down, but it's going. Everything is going. We're in it now. Like, it's going. And, I think it's smart to be prepared for anything. Don't keep going out to things. Don't just go out mindlessly. It's like, this is not the time, yeah. I have the same thing where it's just like, man, I really miss going to here, going there. Oh, that used to be so fun, but that's the past. We're never going to get it back. The only way to get it back is go back and revisit it. You do that up in here. not in this physical. In this physical, you got to catch up with what's going on. What's going on is this time of change. It's release. We got to release the past, let it go, and move into the future, move into our future selves. And so, all of this stuff is this purging all of this energy out. Like that is going to be, and what was it? There's other weird things too with the Burning Man thing. Maybe it was in the comments on here. It could have been on TikTok. I don't remember. But there's more stuff about the straw man. There's more ritual behind what's going on. And that's the other creepy thing. There was all this ritual about what went on in Maui. Now there's all this ritual about what's going on at Burning Man. Like all these rituals that they keep doing. And, but we go out, like, we got to get out there and have some fun, don't we? So, yeah, you're going to be used in there, whatever they're trying to keep going. And Joe is out there saying the craziest shit at this point. I mean, just the fact of him that when he goes out, well, is everybody here? And then he's just like, his response to himself is, well, I guess that doesn't make sense because how could you answer if you're not here or something? I don't know. Everything gets more and more absurd. There's already all these charges on a whole bunch of people, Kamala being one of them, that they aren't really sworn in, so they don't really have a position. They're just people who are out there. And I mean, those of us who were watching that back then were saying they weren't sworn in. This is fake. She had her hand on top of a purse. And so whoever's making these charges say they have all this evidence because when you try to tell people that, oh my God, the excuses, when that was going on, because I was on next door saying that, oh my God, the stuff that people just make any excuse to try and make shit make sense. But I think I swear she had a book in her purse or something. She had something like the Bible's here, like this Bible shit. That's so fucking ridiculous. They said they have this Bible, and then she put something on top of it, and then another one has another thing on top of it and turned it upside down. There's all this weird shit. So people weren't really sworn in to their office, like, because these offices don't even fucking exist. They're just making them up. They're just putting themselves in positions in order to control it. And we all just sit back. Okay, well, I guess they said so. That's what we're doing. It's like, okay, well, you just do whatever you're told all the time? Do you ever stand up for yourself? Do you have any thought over how it should be? Like, that's what's got to get turned on. It's got to get triggered in people. And that will be a thing too, because there's a lot of, this will be a huge hit on the progressive group of people, because there's no fucking way that place is full of conservatives out there doing, because it's not even like doing mushrooms and stuff. Well, I'm sure there's people out there doing mushrooms, but I think a lot of what they're doing is, I don't know, like DMT or doing like I don't know, ecstasy kind of stuff. I think it's more chemical kind of stuff, more animal tranquilizer kind of stuff or something, stuff to make people trip out and shit. So whatever is going on, that's not, all these conservatives are out there, that's where they'll hit the churches to get that group. All those people, they got to go in, so they'll get hit in their own gathering places. But this 70,000 people from all over the place, that's going to hit a lot of different families, so I think this is going to be something to definitely keep an eye on, but really start thinking about where you're going, what you're doing. We're in a time of war, and anybody, it's kind of like how I see like Vietnam or something, and out in the fields, and they're all over there, behind certain things, and then we're all over here. Some of us are down behind bushes and shit, but it's these people who just keep going out into the field. It's like, you're just going out there asking for it. Stay back here. We're telling you there's a problem. There's a problem. You need to stay hidden. And keep on going out there. Well, I got to have some fun. What's life all about? It's all about the beer commercial, isn't it? Oh, and more people are talking about that Tyrone, the Tyrone thing. So I would definitely say, I'm going to look it up. If I can't find it, I'm going to see if my brother can find it. But, you know, I want to see the clone Tyrone movie thing. I said something on TikTok earlier, trying to get people to wake up, trying to get them to think. Like, stop going out to all this shit. Like, fuck, all these people going and buying these goddamn watermelons that are blowing up with who the fuck knows what's inside of it. God, it's disgusting. Yeah, it's just like, people, this is rough, man. It's rough watching people in ignorance, you know. It's going to have a significant thing about our movement forward, and why all of this misinformation and us not trusting ourselves, and it all goes together. This not having our own discernment, not being able to be connected to our own self, our own gut, all being misled, all this programming, indoctrination, it's all that is going to all go together. And all about this moving out of ignorance, moving into knowledge, moving into like security, sovereignty, freedom. It's just very different. So we have to, you know, go through all these things. But anyway, so I wanted to bring that up about the Burning Man. Like, if you're keeping an eye on stuff, that is, I think there's going to be some drama, but there's going to be, it's being controlled because, you know, they're not letting people use their phones, and people's phones are going to be dead. You know, people's phones are going to be dead. I'm sure they're not having internet. I don't even know how some of these people get the videos even out there. I've always thought that, and all these different weird things. And then it's like, well, are these videos meant to make us see something different than what we see? Like, who knows? All this stuff is, you know, is all about waking us up and making us, it's like choosing for ourselves, and then having our own consequences so that we can understand our choices. We can understand why we make our choices, what we do, why we do it, and begin to understand ourselves more clearly. And so I just keep putting that into action. Keep, you know, and then keep aware that we're in the middle of a war with these master chess players that have had this plan for a long time. Don't just keep walking into their traps. I mean, they got the fences, the white suits, everything just sitting right there ready to go. Just come in quickly. We got a fence up around. We got our white suits on. We got our weapons. Nobody's leaving here. It's like they could come in here into my neighborhood and do it. Like, in the movies, they've done that. Just come in and say, oh, there's a deadly disease and it's spreading too fast. We've got to quarantine you. You're all quarantined, and quarantine a whole fucking town. And so I guess if we don't have people going to festivals, then quarantine them, they're going to start taking bigger action. So I guess keep going to the festivals. I'll talk to you later. Bye.